Welcome back to the VitalMX pre-game show where we uncover all of the news from around the world, and what a week it has been. Buckle up because there is a lot to get to. First off, Austin Faulkner has confirmed that he had brain surgery last week to correct a cluster of blood vessels that were considered abnormal.
Last Monday, a week from today, I had brain surgery. A craniotomy or whatever they call it. They went through my head and they removed the AVM. Yeah. Gnarly, right?
Faulkner has known about the issue since 2017, but after undergoing further examinations after his crash in Arlington earlier this year, doctors deemed that it was necessary to have a procedure to take care of that. The surgery was completed successfully, but it will rule him out for the remainder of the 2024 season. So we will not see Austin Faulkner on track until the start of 2025 Monster Energy Supercross. And there are some rumours about what team he will be on at that point. Nothing is confirmed at this time, but keep an eye out for that story as it develops. In more American news, Max Anstie has officially joined the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team.
Hey guys, it's Max Anstie and I'm excited to be part of the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team. Looking forward to getting this thing going and racing out at Southwick in a couple of weeks and the remainder of the AMA Outdoor Championship and SMA.
It was announced on Monday that Anstie had parted ways with Firepower Honda. That team has, of course, signed Carson Mumford to lead them into the future. Anstie, now an official Star Racing rider, will debut at the next round of 2024 Pro Motocross, that being Southwick, and interestingly, both Hayden Deegan and Max Anstie did 2 days of testing at Southwick earlier this week, so expect them to come out firing when round 5 takes place. Speaking in the team's official communication, Anstie said this: "This marks a new chapter in my career and one that I'm motivated to take full advantage of. I have unfinished business in the United States, especially in Pro Motocross, and I know that Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing will help me tick those boxes. From Southwick on, we'll start taking steps to understand the YZ250F in order to make a title run in 2025. I've never felt more ready." Elsewhere this week, Christian Craig went under the knife to have hardware removed from his elbow. That tricky and troublesome elbow injury continues to give him trouble, but hopefully this is another step towards him being 100%. Quietly, he has actually been quite impressive across 4 rounds of Pro Motocross and made noted progress. In more injury news, Ken Roczen is back on the bike after the crash that he had in Nashville. It is uncertain whether he will compete in a Pro Motocross round, but certainly expect him back on track when the SMX playoffs begin in September. Roczen has also been shortlisted for Team Germany at the Motocross of Nations. We'll have more Motocross of Nations news shortly. WSX finally broke cover and revealed their 2024 calendar. Ken Roczen will, of course, be the poster child for that series. The championship will begin in Vancouver, Canada on the 26th of October before a doubleheader in Perth, Australia, and then the final round will be run in Abu Dhabi on December the 4th. Interestingly, that December the 4th is a Wednesday, as the event will take place the day before festivities begin for the final round of the Formula One series. Abu Dhabi is, of course, the grand finale of that series, and so this is an interesting approach by the promoters and one that they deserve credit for. It will certainly drive additional interest to the WSX finale and ensure that the event is more successful than it was in its infancy last year. Jumping across to MXGP now, and Jorge Prado had a horrific crash early in the second moto at Maggiora, the MXGP of Italy. He was hit by multiple riders. Calvin Vlanderen said that he ran over his back and neck, but Luckily, Prado is okay. He pulled out of the second moto because he was in so much pain. However, we spoke to him after the race and he confirmed that there were no issues. He should be able to ride again towards the end of this week, and when MXGP resumes in Indonesia next weekend, he expects to be fighting fit and ready to contend for the victory. Tim Geiser has a healthy lead of 34 points in the MXGP series now, but there are still 10 rounds and 30 motos to go, if, of course, you count the qualification races. Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2 confirmed a change to their lineup this week as EMX 250 rider Carlos Razulis will step up to MX2 for the remainder of the championship. Razulis is currently 5th in EMX 250 and was 2nd overall at the most recent round in Latvia. Speaking in their official statement, he said this: "It's an honour to have been given this opportunity to step up to MX2 on a factory Yamaha. I have dreamed of achieving this my entire life, so it is really a dream come true. For me, it's unreal to know that I will finally be racing in the World Championship. I really want to thank Yamaha and everyone involved for this opportunity. I like the factory YZ250FM a lot. I felt good right from the first moment, and I think that this will give me the confidence as I take on the next chapter." Razulis will debut in Indonesia. That will take place after the upcoming weekend off, as a doubleheader will be held at the relatively new Lombok venue that debuted on the calendar just last year. Last week, we revealed that Venezuela were the first nation to select their riders for the Motocross of Nations. Well, this week, Team South Africa has been finalised. Cameron Duro will race in MXGP, Camden McClellan will race in MX2, and Tristan Purdon will be in the open category. McClellan, who is currently out injured but set to return very soon, has already had an MX2 podium this year, and Tristan Purdon is a frontrunner in the British Championship. So South Africa should, realistically, have no troubles qualifying. Rumours in Majora suggested that the Netherlands are close to finalising their team, which should be Jeffrey Hurlings, Kai de Wolf and Calvin Vlanderen. No surprises there, the team almost picks itself, as Brian Bogers and Glenn Koldenoff are not quite at their best level. So, what lies ahead this weekend? Well, both Pro Motocross and MXGP are on a weekend off, so it's going to feel a little quiet come Saturday and Sunday, almost like we are back in the off-season. There are some interesting races to pay attention to though. Antonio Caroli will race again in his competitive debut aboard the Ducati Desmo 450. He will race in a round of the Italian Championship, his first race since he did those Pro Motocross outings in 2022. Will Caroli win against the fairly weak Italian field? That remains to be seen. There are some notable Grand Prix riders in that class, like Isaac Gifting, for instance, who was competitive at Majora this past weekend. He was 6th in the second moto, so if Caroli can come out and win, that would say a lot about his current level, despite the fact that he hasn't lined up in 2 years. Also, Jeffrey Hurlings will be back racing the British Championship once again. He seems to be edging towards a commitment to the full series, although that has not been finalised just yet. And speaking of the number 84, when we spoke to him in Majora, Italy this past weekend, he suggested that his calendar is so busy that he will not have time to race a round of Pro Motocross this year, which is of course a great shame. That's been all for this week's Vital MX pre-game show. As mentioned on the top, a lot has happened, so this is incredibly busy. Thank you once again for watching. We will be back next week with more news and updates from around the world.